The 2026 World Cup squads are being announced, and if you've been paying attention, something is becoming very clear. Some of these selections have nothing to do with form, nothing to do with the season just played, nothing to do with who deserves it more. They're about names, about legacies, about managers too afraid to walk into a World Cup without their safety blankets. Today we're looking at 8 players who are on the plane this summer, not because of what they've done recently, but because of what they've been.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. The deal runs only until the end of May. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.
Let's start with the most discussed selection of the entire tournament. Neymar, Brazil's all-time top scorer, hasn't played for his country in almost 3 years. After tearing his ACL in 2023, he spent 2 years fighting back. A disastrous stint at Al Hilal produced just 7 appearances over 2 seasons. He returned to boyhood club Santos in January 2025. And his season there, 6 goals and 4 assists in 15 appearances, capped off by a 3-0 defeat to Curitiba in his final audition before the squad announcement. Then, 2 days after Carlo Ancelotti named him in Brazil's World Cup squad, Neymar picked up a calf oedema in training. Brazil's medical team is monitoring the process. Ancelotti, who weeks earlier said he would only call up players who are physically ready, somehow still kept him in. Meanwhile, Chelsea's João Pedro scored 20 goals across all competitions, became only the 6th player in Chelsea's Premier League history to hit 20 top-flight goal involvements in a debut campaign, and was named Chelsea's Player of the Season by over 60% of the fan base, then was left at home. Ancelotti himself admitted it was very difficult and said publicly, "I am sad for players like João Pedro." That's the coach acknowledging the injustice out loud. Even now, Neymar remains the face of Brazilian football, but this tournament should have been the moment Brazil fully handed the keys to Vinicius and his generation. Instead, the moment Neymar walks into that dressing room, the narrative shifts back to him. It's happened at every major tournament he's been part of. The team's entire identity funnels through one man. The pressure becomes suffocating, and when it goes wrong, it goes spectacularly wrong. Think 2014 or Qatar 2022. Brazil have a pattern of over-relying on Neymar to the point where it stunts the collective. Including him now risks repeating that exact cycle, just with a version of Neymar who can barely stay fit for 90 minutes. And while we're in Brazil's squad, Fabinho deserves a mention. The former Liverpool midfielder has been at Al Ittihad since 2023. The question isn't whether he's been performing at an elite level. He hasn't. It's whether playing outside European football should even be a reliable pathway into a Brazil squad with this depth. His mobility was declining before he left Liverpool, yet Ancelotti trusted him enough to include him anyway. Tournament football often rewards familiarity over form, and Fabinho clearly still has the coach's trust. But from the outside, it reads like Brazil choosing comfort over evolution, especially for a midfield that should by rights be refreshing itself. From Brazil to Germany, where Julian Nagelsmann has done something that genuinely stunned the football world. Manuel Neuer, who retired after Euro 2024, is back at 40 as the confirmed #1 starter. Nagelsmann had spent significant time building Oliver Baumann as Germany's undisputed first choice. Baumann played throughout qualifying. Up to last week before the squad announcement, Baumann's own current understanding was that he'd be starting at the World Cup. Then Nagelsmann changed his mind. His explanation: after many discussions, we understood that the 3 best goalkeepers in Germany should be at the World Cup. That's why we spoke with Manuel, and he agreed to return. We planned with him as #1. He even admitted the decision was a blow for Baumann. The extra twist: Neuer had previously described his retirement as set in stone. He reversed that after some outstanding Champions League performances for Bayern. But the very week the squad dropped, Bayern confirmed he needs rest for muscular problems in his left calf. Baumann's Caps couldn't compete with Neuer's 124. That's not football logic. That's a legacy overriding everything. Nagelsmann's loyalty doesn't end there. Leroy Sané is also on the plane. After leaving Bayern on a free transfer last summer, Sané joined Galatasaray and the Turkish Super League. His debut season produced 7 goals and 9 assists in 43 competitive appearances. Nagelsmann himself admitted at the squad announcement his numbers at club level weren't high enough. He said it out loud and still picked him. His justification was 5 goal contributions in Germany's last 4 internationals. so the domestic season wasn't enough, but the international numbers kept him safe. Players like Karim Adeyemi and Chris Führich, both with stronger club seasons, are staying home. Germany fans have watched this same story with Sané for nearly a decade. Every manager, every cycle, someone looks at his ceiling and thinks, this is the tournament he finally delivers. That belief has been renewed more times than most fans can count. France have their own version of this debate, just with a slightly warmer public reception. N'Golo Kante is 35, playing for Fenerbahce in Turkey and going to his third World Cup. For context, Eduardo Camavinga, 22, Real Madrid World Cup finalist, was left out. Deschamps pointed to Camavinga's difficult, injury-disrupted season at Madrid. Fair enough, but Kante, operating in the same non-elite European League tier as Sané, gets a different verdict. Why? Because Deschamps trusts him in a way he simply doesn't trust anyone else for that defensive midfield role. Kante's reading of the game, his ability to kill momentum and protect the backline, is genuinely irreplaceable in France's system. The 2018 World Cup winner brings something nobody else in that squad replicates. The criticism isn't that he's useless, it's that France may be rewarding a legacy while younger options wait. Deschamps himself confirmed this is his final tournament in charge. Whether Kante proves to be a masterstroke or a sentimental farewell depends entirely on what happens at the tournament. Sweden's situation with Alexander Isak is different from the others because here, reputation might actually be the right call. Isak joined Liverpool for £125 million last summer and suffered one of the most injury-disrupted debut seasons you can imagine. A broken leg, 8 league starts, 4 goals in all competitions. He missed Sweden's entire World Cup playoff campaign in March, watching as his country qualified without him. Manager Graham Potter still named him in the final 26. His reasoning, if he hits top form, he's a world-class player. That's the honest case. Isak at full fitness is arguably Sweden's most dangerous attacker by a significant margin. The debate isn't his quality, it's his sharpness going into the biggest tournament of his career, having barely played. A player with 8 league starts arriving at a World Cup is a real gamble, but sometimes reputation exists for a reason. Jordan Henderson first came back into England's thoughts when Tuchel called him the glue in his very first squad announcement. Henderson, now 35 and at Brentford, wasn't even in Gareth Southgate's wider squad for Euro 2024. His last England cap before Tuchel arrived was November 2023. Yet not only did Tuchel recall him, Henderson has appeared in every single squad since. His case is entirely built on leadership, experience and dressing room presence. By most assessments, he's not close to England's best midfielder on form, with Morgan Gibbs-White, Phil Foden, Cole Palmer and Adam Wharton reportedly left out of the final squad. England may be arriving at this tournament with creativity sacrificed for character. At a tournament where moments of genius decide knockout games, that's a decision Tuchel will be judged harshly on if it goes wrong. And then there's Memo Ochoa, 40 years old, currently playing for AEL Limassol in Cyprus and about to become one of the very few footballers in history to appear at 6 World Cups, keeping company with Messi and Ronaldo in that bracket. After the tournament, Ochoa has confirmed he will retire from football entirely. His legendary saves against Brazil in 2014 and his penalty stop against Lewandowski in 2022 made him a global icon. Over 150 caps for Mexico, but he's 40, playing in Cyprus, and Mexico are co-hosting this tournament. Younger goalkeepers need these minutes more. The honest read? Mexico are giving a beloved legend his farewell on home soil. This one feels less like a football selection and more like a ceremony, and it's genuinely hard to be angry about it. And that's the whole point. World Cups are never picked on merit alone. Managers get cautious, they reach for names they trust, players whose presence feels safe in a dressing room under pressure. The Juan Pedros, Camavingas and Adeyemis of the world pay the price. But as long as football has had legends, tournaments have been built around protecting them, even when the numbers say otherwise. Do you think we left anyone off the list? Let us know in the comments. Remember to leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it and subscribe to the channel. Also be sure to turn on post notifications so that you never miss out on any new videos. See you next time. Bye.